This program is brought to you by the following sponsors.
What is going on, guys? Jay Shy here with another video, and this video is going to be an impressions video that I haven't done one of these in quite some time, so I figured it would be a good time to do one of these, seeing as if I've been playing something for quite a bit. Right in between when I was getting to the final stages of Persona 3. When I was doing my playthrough, I was also playing another RPG at the time, and it happens to be Mind Zero. This Persona looking game on the Vita. Yeah, I bought this not too long ago, 2 weeks ago. I bought this basically because I saw it as an advertisement in another game. It was a Akiba's Trip. If you play Akiba's Trip, you'll see this game on like billboards in the game. So I was like, I don't know what that is, but it looks interesting. So I didn't think it was real when I was playing in the game until I saw it. I saw this at GameStop about 2 weeks ago. And I decided to pick it up. It was $15, so I was like, whatever. It looks interesting, and I thought it was a Persona clone, and to my surprise, it's kind of not. It's kind of not. This game was clearly, you can tell though, it was made by someone who likes Persona and who likes Shin Megami Tensei, but it has some hints of other games. Well, one in particular. But anyway, so I've been doing some research on the internet, and a lot of people say that this game is a Persona clone. To an extent, sure. I've decided to do this impressions because when I started playing the game, I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I do right now, because I'm still actually currently playing it. It plays very not like Persona at all, which is weird. In terms of like aesthetics and some of the things in the game, yeah, sure, it wants to be Persona. Yeah, you can say that. The whole teenager kid thing and them controlling these things called mind. They're basically personas almost, but they're called minds in this game. I don't know if that's like a pun or something. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's bizarre. Like I can't even explain it. It's hard to explain. Like I should probably explain it by when you play Persona games, you do magic attacks and your persona kind of appears. In this game, you actually kind of have control of the persona, which is interesting, or the mind, and it feels like a separate battle system to the game, almost like you're switching between the two, which is interesting. But it's how do I explain this? Okay, it's really weird because it's so interesting that it makes it good, which is kind of weird because I expected to go into this game and be like, it is a Persona clone. Okay, whatever. But it actually is. It does its own thing to the point where I felt the need and I was compelled to talk about it. So the way the battle system works is very interesting. It's so interesting to the fact where I'm kind of like, I want to explain this right so that you guys get it. So there's 3 separate like bars. Like usually when you're playing an RPG, you have your HP, your MP, and usually that's it. And sometimes if you're playing an ATPS or what is it, ABS or ATS meter or whatever, your time meter, it kind of builds. In this game, it doesn't do that. It's more of you have a TP meter, which is basically a meter that shows how many times you can do magical attacks. Then you have your character's HP, and then you have the character's MP, which is mind power, I'm assuming. Because when you start a battle, your characters are basically, the character standing on the field. Then you have to press the L trigger to summon your mind. But basically the mind, the way I'm looking at it, it almost works like a shield. Almost like it kind of stands in front of you and it takes the hits for you. But it also has its own separate attacks and skills. You have the option to put the mind away and play with just the character. They're roughly kind of weak and they're not as strong as the mind. So you can summon it and bring it back on the fly, which was interesting. So like if you have your mind summoned, every time an enemy hits you, it takes power away from your mind and not your character's HP. And you go into like this kind of back and forth where you have to manage your character's health and you have to manage your mind, which was interesting because you get kind of in order for you to charge your mind power again, you have to put your mind away so that you can charge it again, so that you can bring it out and it comes back at whatever health it's at. So every time you put it away, it kind of slowly builds up. But it leaves your character either defenseless, and you don't want your character to die, because if your character dies, it kind of falls. And that's another thing that makes it interesting. It's a first-person dungeon crawler. I love first-person dungeon crawlers, and I was very thoroughly surprised that it was a first-person dungeon crawler, and it's not bad. It's good. It's a good game. And it has that sense of strategy that I like, because it takes a lot of party management, especially, well, not much party management, more like health management. Because every time you get hit, your mind power goes down, but you kind of need your mind in order to block and take blunts of damage, and for you to dish out even more damage than usual. The battle system, you can have 3 people in a party. It's not like your typical really first-person dungeon crawler. I'm really used to like dungeon crawlers like there's this game I used to play when I was a kid called Wizardry 8, where you can kind of place your characters in the front row and then you have your other characters in the back. This game doesn't do that. It's more, here's your 3 base characters, and you can kind of just dungeon crawl and fight monsters and stuff. So yeah, the battle system is really good. It's good enough to the point where it's doing its own thing. And I had to talk about this game mostly because of the fact that I've been playing this game like nonstop. Like I'll play it late in the night till about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, why do I like this? And it's good. It's not a bad game. Next, let's talk about the story. So the story is, you see some Persona elements, but not really. It's the only thing that's very Persona-ish is probably the music. The music tries. It's not, but it tries. And the game is more of a it's more of like a government conspiracy Persona, which is, well, at least that's what I'm getting from it now, because there's like cops involved in this special unit that has to like track down people who have minds or something like that. It's interesting enough for me to keep playing it. I've heard some very bad things about the ending. I've heard that it's not good, but it's just not a good ending. It's an ending that's so open-ended that there's going to be a sequel, and it's weird. Like I would definitely buy the sequel day one after playing this. It's good. I really like it. But it's like a government story, a government conspiracy kind of Persona game or whatever. I don't know. I can't. But next is the characters. The characters. They're not. They surprised me. I thought the characters are gonna be very cliche Persona. Like I was gonna get that that character I was gonna get characters that were exactly like Persona characters. And the thing is that they're not. They're not. They're like they're almost like interesting anime characters. I mean, they're not dull, but they're not. They're not social link great. You know, like so far, I'm not really into the characters. Like, I'm like, oh my god, I understand these guys. You know, I'm more like, I like them. They're likable. Um, I will say this: the main character is more interesting than both Persona 3 and 4's characters. Main characters. He's more interesting, in my opinion. Um, he's kind of what's the word for it? He's very low. He talks like he kind of can't stand his friends, and he gets annoyed by them sometimes. And his friends they're kind of annoying. they're and I understand where he's coming from. They're annoying enough to the point where they act like children, but he's more of like the matured one, and he's like, oh, they're fighting again. He's cool. The other characters are kind of, I guess, archetypes. You got your Yosuke, you know, the Joker, always wants to be the hero. And then you got the tough girl, who is basically a fighter. She's like, I can take care of things on my own kind of girl. And I got another character who is interesting enough where she looks like a nerd, but she practices like Aikido. She knows samurai, like the ways of samurai, which is weird because her character design doesn't fit the core aesthetic of what she is. So it kind of works. It's interesting. It's refreshing, and it's different. But yeah. But apparently this game's ending is so open-ended that it feels like it's going to get a sequel. And to be honest with you, most definitely I will get a sequel to this game. It's not horrible. It's a first-person dungeon crawling RPG that does enough things that are unique to its own, where after kind of playing it for like 15 hours, I can't say that it's own or it's a Persona ripoff. I can't. I mean, because I've played Persona games, and I played this, and it's doing enough things where it's its own game. I think it should go its own route with the music. Well, some of the music, like some of the dungeon music is really good. But there's some like music in like the stores or like mostly the world map that definitely wants to be Persona. Like it's dying to be Persona. And this game, it feels like it was made by someone who loves either Persona or Shin Megami Tensei. And that third game I was talking about was Final Fantasy VIII. Because the way your mind works, like I said, it's like a shield. Like in Final Fantasy VIII, when you want to summon your GFs, like the bar changes, and it shows the GF's name, health. It kind of works like that. Like that's the best way I can put it. It kind of works like that. The way you summon your mind, it kind of works as a blocker. It takes hits for you, and and you can do like powerful magic attacks. It works like that. So it has those three elements in it, and it does its own. So definitely, it's good. It's not terrible. It's not what I expected. I didn't pay a lot for it, so that's probably why I'm pleased also. So, but it's definitely worth the playthrough. I think everybody should at least give it a try. If you're into first-person dungeon crawling RPGs, I am. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm enjoying it. It's almost done. So hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys